I have worked in the funeral industry around the dead for over 25 years in many capacities. All during that time, I didn't believe ghosts actually exist. This is Audio Stories with J.B. Simien. This is the story of a sweet and gentle dog. Long after the funeral party had departed the cemetery, the large German shepherd remained resting on the new grave. When I returned to work the next day, the dog was still resting on the freshly formed grave of its former owner, I presume. All during the heat of that August day, the dog remained without shade, food, or water. The cemetery grounds crew tried several times to drive the dog away. It always returned and resumed its vigil above the grave. It was a sweet and gentle dog. I don't believe the guys tried very strongly to drive him away, and I think they were secretly feeding him. After a few days, we came to accept that the dog would remain there until he found a new home. I purchased some dog food, then I fed him and gave him some water. I did this every day, morning, noon, and evening, for 11 days, even on the weekends. I also ensured that the ground crew cleaned up his poop. Then the grounds crew guys made a shelter for the dog in their work area and adopted it as their mascot. They took over the feeding and providing of water. They then gave the dog a name, Digger, short for grave digger. Sometimes I work in the cemetery office late at night. I'm the cemetery administrator. One of those late nights in December around 10:30 p.m., I went to check on Digger before heading home to ensure that he had water, food, and a warm place to sleep. As I approached the grave that Digger usually rests upon, I observed and could hear that he was playing fetch with someone in the darkness. The cemetery gates are open 24 hours, 7 days per week, because we have a watchman on site. There is rarely any vandalism because of that fact. So I thought that Digger was playing with our watchman or some other late-night visitor. Digger ran up to greet me and dropped the stick at my feet. I threw the stick and Digger took off to retrieve it. I turned to the person that he'd been playing fetch with and moved closer. By this time, I could see it was not our watchman, Mr. North. It was an elderly lady in a formal long dress. In the darkness, I couldn't tell the color of the dress. It looked thin, long, and black. I was in a winter jacket because of the cold. The elderly woman didn't appear to be affected by the cold weather. Digger dropped the stick at her feet, and she threw the stick again for him to retrieve it. It was then that I noticed that though she was solid in form, she had no feet. She was hovering feetless above the ground. I tried very strongly not to appear rattled by my observation. Still, I think that my facial expression must have betrayed my rising shock, because she asked, "Am I the first ghost you've ever met?" My snappy retort in a weak voice was, "So you think you're a ghost, huh?" She didn't answer my question. She did say, "I thank you and your men for taking such good care of my dog Chip. When I was alive, he was my child. He and I were each other's family. There was no one to take care of him when I passed. I'm so grateful that you all have found each other. Now I can rest." With that, she embraced Chip, Digger, for a long time. Then she slowly faded before my eyes. I'll end this story by making the following personal observation. I have worked in the funeral industry around the dead for over 25 years in many capacities. All during that time, I did not believe that ghosts actually exist outside of people's imagination. Now, I know that they do. That concludes the story of a sweet and gentle dog. If you have enjoyed this story and would like to hear more audio stories, please subscribe now and like us below. Also, please tell me your thoughts about the story below. I'd like to hear your ideas. Thank you and take care.